Welcome to Beyond the Norms, the podcast where we question the rules, challenge traditions, and rethink the everyday standards shaping our society. From education and religion to culture and lifestyle in Nigeria, we dive deep into the issues that matter, spark conversations, and inspire fresh perspectives. I am Onwodizion Emeka and I'm here with my co-host Nwobi Ikenna Jude. Together we will explore what happens when we dare to think differently. Alright, good morning, or rather good afternoon guys. How you guys doing now?
Yeah, we're doing good. We're doing good, thank you.
Happy New Year to everyone. Victor, welcome to the show once again.
Yeah, always great to be here.
It's a new year
Happy New Year.
and I don't we've just gone I think about a week into the new year and a lot of things have happened. They've carried Venezuelan presidents. A lot of this has been an eventful new year. Yeah, so
Yeah, and things is going to get wild yourself.
Why do you say so?
I just feel, the way the year opened, I just this is the trend. If in the new year, if something very dramatic happens, you are just sure you're in for a wild ride that year.
Well, there's already a lot of uproar because of this tax issue. A lot of people are speaking, talking about what it entails for we as Nigerians and all of that. So I just feel like it's important for we as content creators at large to, I think it's a responsibility of ours to try as much as possible to educate the public, because I realized something recently is that a majority of Nigerians don't exactly understand what tax is. In fact, I was speaking to a guy recently, and you know the funniest thing, he did not know that Nigerians used to be taxed before. He thought that this taxing of a thing is a new thing that just came into the country.
Yeah, a lot of people are naive about it.
So that's why I just feel like it's important we try and talk about it. Victor, you wanted to say something?
Okay, well, all right, but before I go on, I feel that is the main cause for this. A large part of the populace being largely ignorant about this house being taxes. I think it's not something, it's in hidden charges. It's not like actively implemented. It's always in hidden charges. For example, when you pay school fees, if you take your time to go, if you're like your remitter now, if you are going to go through some probably invoices or your school fees remitter, you will see that tax is actually included. So I think people don't really go through them. What I do, so a lot of people don't go through it. So that's why I feel a lot of people are lagging.
It's not completely okay. Yeah, I agree with you that it's hidden, but something else like there's a major implementation of tax. Like if you look at people who work, who do this, who are in the formal sector and work, they usually deduct them taxes before they are paid their salary. But the thing is that they just don't know that they are being charged tax. So it's implemented, but people are largely naive about it.
Yes.
Okay. I would like us to start on this note. Let's define what tax is. What exactly is tax like, and why does the government collect tax from its citizens? Because I was looking up the Oxford Dictionary meaning of tax, and the meaning there is money that you pay to government so that it can pay for public services. Now, public services in this context means like roads, schools, healthcare, and other public services. So I feel like one of the major reasons for the uproar is that these infrastructures are already not there. They are already largely lacking, and the claim is that we've been paying tax before. So I feel like let's just start by establishing it. What is the purpose of tax, of collecting tax?
Okay. That question is actually quite nice because a lot of people, like I said earlier, a lot of people are naive about the whole tax idea. Tax was established in order for government to have enough money to cater for the need of the society. So basically, they get this money from almost everybody, and it gives you a sense of responsibility as well. So when you pay your tax, you can actually stand up and question the government when you feel like they are not doing enough. It's okay, you have the moral right to actually stand up and question them. Is that way which government actually take money from people, build road, the universities, the legal system, they settle the judges and the rest of them. Even the defense, the military, and these are the way which governments actually take care of these responsibilities that individuals cannot just come up and say, we want to start paying. Individuals can't just come up and say, we want to start paying military or want to start developing electricity. That's what government is there for. So they have to get the tax from the
So the baseline now is that for a country to run smoothly, citizens must pay tax. Like there is no other way.
Yeah, well, okay, well, I have something to. Yeah, I have a perspective to pay. Okay. Yeah. So, historically, taxes were not like personal income tax, and I think for the main opera. So, just to be clear, where I'm coming from, I'm coming with the idea of Nigerians being aggravated by this personal income tax of a thing. You understand? So, I think taxes. Originally, I read somewhere that initially taxes were not mandatory for citizens of a country. Okay. So in times of a monarchical rule, when it was still widespread, you get, there were times probably the government or the king would just ask everybody, probably there was a national need or maybe they needed to finance wars. So the king, the crown would say, all right, everyone chip in. We are fighting war against this country, so we need support. So everybody voluntarily gives what they have. If there was no fixed amount, you just support what you have. But, down the line, greed now came in when government saw that,
it can be a source for generating
money from people. Then later on in the United States, they now made it mandatory. And that's why it kept progressing and kept progressing and kept progressing. So that's where we are right now.
Okay, so Victor, when you were speaking earlier on, you said something about, I think you spoke about the fact that these taxes, they were already there, but they were sort of like fragmented. And I was listening to a show, This Your View, where they invited the chairman of this presidential committee for fiscal something. I think his name is Taiwo Yedili. I don't know if you guys. So he also spoke about this thing. Yeah, he spoke about this thing that you said that taxes have always been there, just they've been fragmented. So one of the things that this new Nigerian Tax Act is trying to do is trying to like consolidate most of this scatter tax and just have like a structure of all of like putting all of them in a structure so they can easily track taxpayers and those that are trying to evade tax. So my question is this: what are some of these tax that have existed that Nigerians have already been paying for that probably they were not aware of it? Because you said it was sort of like hidden. Can you give me an example of this hidden tax that you spoke about?
For example, when I say hidden, I don't necessarily mean like it's not visible. You have to actually look at the breakdown. Okay, like one example is your VAT, your value-added tax. You pay in almost every year you pay. School fees, hospital bills, even for services, for merchandise, you bring it to the country. Customs duty, stamp duty, there are a lot that we pay.
Oh, so those are the tax you were talking about. But personal tax, I think is important that we also establish that this personal income tax, it has always been there. Because I remember in 2020 when school went on strike, I decided to go and work in a supermarket. And I remember then I was earning 30,000 naira working as a cashier. And the salary I used to get at the end of the month was not exactly 30,000 naira. They used to remove, I think, like 1,000 or thereabouts for tax. So that personal income. Sorry, I was saying something.
To inform you that, they were even transparent enough to inform you that your salary is 30,000 naira and they will not remove a certain amount. In some cases, they won't even inform you. They will just give you whatever they agreed to pay you in the end of the day. But in the background, they are already removed a certain amount for tax. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. But I think, Zion, another thing that I'm saying making it hidden is sometimes they don't really tell this personal income tax only applies to businesses. Like corporate businesses.
Wait, you say this new tax act only applies to businesses? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not it. I said this personal income tax, it was mostly levied on just people earning a salary in a corporate fashion.
Okay.
So if you are
common
doing like,
sector.
for example, if you are doing manual work or you are doing online work, you won't necessarily pay personal income tax the way it is now.
Okay, you're talking
If they
about
might
like
just
freelancers, right?
What?
Is it like freelancers?
Exactly. You won't pay personal income tax to the government. It might just be probably if money is coming in, bank charges, this one charges.
No, but the truth is that governments have a way of collecting their taxes. The roadside traders. The
Yes, all
taxi
those
drivers,
agberos.
and government have these federal inland revenue service that
Which I
come
think they've
collect
changed to
money
now
from them.
NRS.
NRA.
Like recently in Oka, there was this girl, like, she's always like closing shop, like she will just close her shop whenever they are coming around. Like she just run away, close her shop immediately.
Tax evasion.
No, seriously, it's quite funny. Like the moment everybody in that row observes that those people are around the corner, they will just close their shop. Somebody give them information prior to the time they come around.
So the system was not working. I feel like that's one of the reasons why they are trying to bring about this new tax act.
Yes,
because
yes.
I was listening to that Taiwo Yedele and he said something that got me thinking. Because he was like, it's funny how, and I think I posted that on my status. He said it's funny how the people that are fighting this new tax act are the people that the thing is sort of supposed to benefit the most. Because, for example, you see, I made an example of when I was working and earning 30,000 naira. I was still being taxed. But with the new tax act, if I was still earning that amount that I was earning then, if I was earning it now, I would be exempted from tax. Because the new threshold that they set, I think they said anybody earning 800,000 naira,
Yes.
801,000 naira above will be taxed. But if you are earning less than or equals to 800,000 naira, you are paying 0% rate of tax. So I feel like
personal income tax.
Personal income tax, exactly. So I feel like this new tax act is trying to focus more on those high income earners more than the low income earners. I don't know.
Well, let's be honest. Like, is 800,000 naira really
annually
big money in Nigeria? Annually, is it big money in Nigeria? Like
800,000 naira annually is 66,666 naira per month.
Yeah,
that's less than national. That's less than national minimum wage, sir.
Exactly.
Yeah, you agree with me on that. As a student, I consume far more than that. I consume far more than that in a month. So I believe in this economy, whoever is not earning more than 800,000 naira is really suffering. That's what I think.
Or the person is under experience. Yes, I think putting it.
Exactly.
But I strongly believe that there are people that are earning it to guy. Even less than that.
Yeah.
People they suffer.
That's the truth actually. That's the truth actually. There are people that are in the informal sector that are not earning enough as much as that.
Okay, now let's move into this new. I think we will establish some of the tax that existed. For example, the VAT. Victor spoke about VAT. I think there's also this stamp duties, this electronic money levy, all those stuff that banks.
The custom duties to importers, they usually pay a heavy amount of money for.
I don't want to go so much into all these exporters and the tax for business owners. I want to focus more on individuals and salary earners, because I feel like these are the people that are complaining the most.
I think that's okay to actually focus on them, but
yes.
It's also okay to establish what is available, like what is obtainable at the moment. Custom duties there, because it's actually affecting us. When you go to markets to buy stuff and the custom duty is so much, they definitely increase
the price of what they are selling price.
Yes, custom duties there. But let's just focus on them. Like you said, the one that actually affects the common man on the streets.
Yeah. So let's go in proper now into the new Nigerian Tax Act that was, I think it was signed on June 26, 2025. That's last year, and they said it to take place 1st of January. So it has taken place. It has taken effect already. So it was broken down into 4: the Nigerian Tax Act (NTA), the Nigerian Tax Administration Act (NTAA), Nigerian Revenue Service Act (NRSA), Joint Revenue Board Act (JRBA). So all of these things, they are very much confusing, like big grammar. I don't know which one is the Joint Revenue Board. What exactly is this new tax act? Like, I know it's 4 of them majorly, but can you break it down for me? What exactly does each of them mean?
Okay, well, what I believe about this is that accountants will be able to know more. Like this, what was it called? It's just a way of saying, okay, these taxes that we are collecting, there's a lot of people coming in, like these tax bureaus come and collect, this one come and collect, and all those things. It's just a way of saying that this whole thing now is merged into this four tax reform system, four tax reform, and then we'll just monitor what you are earning and everything, and we'll be able to tax you based on that. That's what I actually think about that. The detail about it, I believe accountants, like people who are into tax, will be able to explain. Yeah.
But I also think the four divisions, so just clearly stated to outline their new method, because that man you were saying, that Taiwo man, he was saying something about he was saying something about being able to systematically capture appropriate people that's meant to be taxed. Because I think he gave one example, and I was thinking of it, and it got me, and I was really impressed that he brought that up. He said, for example, some of these content creators that might be earning high money, like they might be earning maybe 10K, 20K USD monthly, they don't pay income tax, and it's not right. Whereas somebody in the office earning 400,000 naira is paying personal income tax. So that's one of the things this new tax act helps to breed. Why I'm not saying necessarily a bad thing, I'm just pointing out what he said.
Honestly, I agree with it too, because I think I listened to that place where he spoke about content creators paying more. So I agree. I feel like it's a very wonderful thing that they've implemented. Though the thing is, it's not totally against the content creators, because I think he spoke about how they don't just directly come and tax you based on. So what they do is they do an assessment. Like they go to your page as a content creator, and based on maybe your followers, the type of videos you are posting, maybe you are posting first class trip to London, all of those things, that's how they determine the type of tax you are supposed to pay. However, you are not automatically expected to just pay it like that. What you can now come and do and tell the government that, okay, this is what is like, for example, your cost of producing content. He called it capital gains, where maybe the money you used to buy data as a content creator, the money you used to buy the clothes that you used to shoot that content, the data, the camera, all of that, they are called capital gains. So you remove all of that and then tell government that this is how much you are supposed to pay. So you remove your capital gains. So it's not totally against content creators, you understand? He also spoke about the one for crypto guys, people that invest in virtual assets, because there's a lot of misconceptions that may have been hearing that they are saying they will start taxing people even if you do airdrop, even if you invest in crypto, they'll start taxing you. So what he said is this. He said, usually the way they used to tax virtual assets like crypto before was that they tax you on your gains. They don't tax you on your losses. So if you invest in maybe Bitcoin and you have some gains, they tax you on that. But you invest in Bitcoin and you lose, they don't tax you on that. But he said what they do now is they don't just tax you on. Let me just finish. He said they don't just tax you on your gains. They tax you on your net gains. That is, they remove your losses from your gains and tax that, which I feel like is better.
No, that's how tax has always worked.
No, he said that's how the new tax act is. He said before, the old one, they just tax your gain. They don't have anything to do with your losses. You understand?
And that was now the way the tax companies
do they actually monitor your crypto business? How?
No. The way it works when it comes to virtual asset, because the PDF set for the tax law, I downloaded it, but on grammar too much. But for virtual assets, it's based on your disposal of it, which is just a principle of saying when you sell. You understand? Because this crypto providers, like
platform.
What do you call them?
The platforms like Bybit
your crypto exchanges, yes. The money, since they're all licensed to operate in Nigeria, they monitor it. So they look at when you buy and when you sell, how much did you sell it for, how much did you buy it for. So automatically the difference there will now be the gain that they tax you on. So it's when you sell. It's not as if as long as you're holding Bitcoin, as long as you've not sold them, even if you are gaining, you won't tax it. It's when you sell it, because by selling it, that's when the money now enters your account.
That's actually a nice way to evade tax.
It's like your stocks now. We buy shares now at
Okay,
$5.
they'll be taxing stock too now.
Capital gains. Capital gains. No, I think it's exempt. So that place was a bit easy for me. I'm not about being exempt from tax or the tax lower, but I know capital gains, they tax it. Sure. I think the type of investment they don't tax, but capital gains, they tax capital gains.
So I wanted us to look at this chart that Victor mentioned. That's I think the bands for how much people will be paying. I think they have the one that the first one is 0 to 800,000 naira, 0%, 801,000 to 3 million naira, 15%. It goes on like that till 25%. My question is, how did they come about these rates that they assigned to
taxation?
Yeah, sorry?
They call it progressive taxation.
Can you explain what that means?
For example, let's say you earn 4 million naira. The way it works is there are some deductions you can do from that money, because automatically that 4 million you earned, that is, people assume that is what they have done, but it doesn't work like that now. There are deductions they allow you to make to actually receive the tax bills.
Okay.
So the way they do it, they first calculate the first 800,000 naira you made. You understand?
In a year.
They will remove it from that 4 million, so you're left with 3.2. So that 800K is now tax-free money. You understand? Then you also have deductions that if you are probably your employer is contributing to a pensions plan for you. However, how much is contributing to it, they also deduct it from that remaining 3.2. You understand?
Yeah.
Then also your house rent, 20% of your house rent is now also deducted from whatever is left from that less than 3.2 million.
So you say your entire house rent is deducted? Or
no, 20%, but it's capped at 500K. Okay. You can't go above 500K.
Victor, this 20% that you are talking about, I think it falls under something they said rent or housing expenses. Yeah. And this one, it depends, though. It does not apply to everybody, you know.
That's people that are renting apartment. House owners, it doesn't apply to them. If you own your own house.
No, there's an aspect of it. It's called the rental income relief. There's an aspect that applies to those that are renting out their house, like landlords. So the one you are speaking about now is for employers. It's for employees rather. So employees that usually their employers has a portion of their salary that is meant for like for renting. Do you understand? To cater for their renting, like what they call it, rental allowance. So that rental allowance is not supposed to be taxable. So the government gives you the opportunity to say, okay, even if I'm earning 1 million naira a month, the entire 1 million naira is just my gross income. Not everything is supposed to go to me. Part of it is allowance for rent. You understand? So the government gives you the opportunity to exempt 20% of that as tax-free. Then the one for the landlord. Sorry?
Half of 500K.
Yes.
Half of 500,000. It doesn't go above that.
Yes. So the one for landlord now, if you are renting out your apartment, and that's your major source of income. When you rent out your apartment for 1 million, it's not the entire 1 million that is taxable. There is a portion of it that is for expenses. They call it deductible expenses that goes into for repair and maintenance, property management fee, insurance. So you are allowed to remove all of that. So the government doesn't just come and tax everything like that. Do you get?
Yes, exactly. So after you remove those deductions, now this is where the progressive part comes in. Let's assume that out of that 4 million, okay, after you make your deductions and you're left with 3 million, okay, then that's when the progressive taxation now comes in. So that progressive taxation, if the first 800,000 is tax free, that means they will deduct 800, they will remove 800K from that 3 million, they're left with 2.4. Okay?
Yeah.
Out of that 2.4, 2.2 million from that 2.4 will be taxed at 15%. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It's taxed at 15%. Then the remaining 200,000 will now be taxed at 18%.
There's a lot of mathematics that goes into it. The average Nigerian, will they understand this thing?
Wait,
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I think I disagree with you on that.
I literally read it up this morning. It's not like I wrote it down. I'm looking at my notes now. That's how it works. That's how the progressive thing works. First 800k is free. Next 2.2 is at 15%. Next 9 million is
Victor,
18.
you said the first
Next
800k that enters into your account is free.
No, like you're taxable out of your income.
You are saying it's not going to be taxed.
Yeah, it's with tax free. Yeah.
The first 800k.
Taxable income, yes. Taxable income.
I guess what you are saying, Victor. I guess what you're saying now.
Yes.
The idea is that what I was actually thinking about was that they will just monitor your because usually this personal income tax is usually made at the end of the year. So they will monitor.
This man said they will do one this March. This Taiwo Yedili. I was listening to him this morning. He said there will be an assessment that everybody an audit that everybody is expected to do. You fill the form March 31st.
That's for the inception phase, but subsequently it's going to be done at the end of the year. They will monitor what you are getting from January to December, and then at the end of the year.
Okay. At the end of the year, they will now do a general.
They will now do a general remittance on based on whatever you earn. So the first 800,000 naira would not be taxed. So whatever is remaining, let's assume the total income you got for the whole year is like 4 million. That 800,000 naira will be removed, and with the 4 million now, you fell into the category of people that that are beyond the 15%. 15% is I think 15% is from 800,000 naira to about 3 points.
2.2. Yes.
2.2. So with 4 million, you are in the category of you are in second category, which I think is around 18% or thereabouts.
Yes, 18%.
That's how you be taxed 18%.
Yeah, he also said something about that chart has range. Like they have like from 0 to 800. So what they have for the rate there, for example, the one that is from 301 to 12 million, the rate there is 18%. So what he was trying to say is that it's not exactly like somebody that earns between 300 to 12 million will not be paying exactly 18%, because it's kind of unfair that somebody that is earning 3 million would be paying the same 18% with somebody that is paying 12 million. She understands. So he said there is a way they calculate it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
There's a way they calculate
it. That's the progressiveness they're talking about. Progressiveness they're talking about.
Okay, so as it increases,
the more the percentage increases. Yeah, the more you earn, the more the percentage increases.
But for a range of 3 million to 12 million, it will still fall under that 18%.
Yeah, it's between that 0 to 25%. When you are earning, I think when you are earning a bit above 50 million or so, your tax
is 25.
Gets closer to that
25%. Yes.
25%. Yeah.
But that 12 million, if you're earning 12 million, it will be taxed at 18%.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay, because that's the highest range in that band, Abi.
Yes.
So 25% is the highest now.
No, in that band, the band of 3 million to 12 million.
Band.
Okay.
That band of 3 million to 12 million. So I want us to move a little bit into the misconceptions and misinformation, because there's a lot of misinformation that has been going around concerning this tax issue. The first one being that narration, which I feel like they've debunked, where they said that you have to be putting narration. And my question is, where did that news even come from? That you have to put narration on every money you are transferring. Where did that misinformation come from? Was there any indication from the federal government that you had to be putting narration on your transfers?
I think the misconception, for me, I won't say, I think people were assuming that government will tax every money that comes into your accounts. So people now came up with, okay, let's put narration so that we'll know when they ask, okay, what is this 100k for? You now say, oh, this is for this. What is this 200k for? This for this. I think that is where the whole thing now came up with narration. But at the end of the day, it has been debunked that they don't have business with your narration.
So they don't have business. They don't have business with your narration, but it was also said that it might be in your best interest to still put
Yes,
narration
put
on
it
certain kind of
for your
amount.
audit.
Yes,
For
for
your
your
own
audit.
personal audit.
Yes, so that it can help you
So during
remember.
audit, you can say, well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. For example,
So you can say,
if you had 100 million coming to your account, and then federal government is asking you, where did this money come from? If it's something that happened maybe earlier in the year and you are doing the audit by early in the next year, you might not be able to remember. Sure, you understand? So, but if you have a narration there, it will help you recall what
narration might be
exactly.
necessary.
Yeah.
yeah, it's been necessary. Yes, it's been necessary. But then again, narration, what I will really advise the listeners will be just be honest about the narration. You got not, you see 50K, you say it's for Amala, or 100K, you say it's for a regular soup. How far, there's fine. As I saw the fine.
Yeah, they say
fine
it's fine. No, I saw it too.
It's mad, guy. Hey,
Honestly, I feel like there's going to be a lot of misunderstanding this year, but as a result of this, because it's at the inception stage, and people have not really had.
A lot of people make mistakes.
A
lot of people make
I'm even
mistakes.
thinking about how illiterates are. I'm even thinking about how illiterates are going to go about this whole thing.
Exactly, because you see the calculation that you guys were doing, breaking it down.
All those things.
How many people have that accounting background to be able to start breaking down all of these things, to know exactly how much they are supposed to be paying? Even the auditing, the self-auditing.
I'm really looking forward to the audits this year. Let me see how
that's going to be an issue, honestly.
They should have created a system to help people self-audit, maybe like an app to help people self-audit, people that are not very,
Like I said, illiterates, like there are many people that usually don't know how to actually operate Android phones. So those people now, they fall into the category of those people that cannot actually use the application you're talking about. Even if you develop the simplest of the app, they just don't know. There are some people that are
they are simply
like for example now my dad doesn't really see well. Doesn't really see well as a result of his eye issue. Yeah. So how is he going to even use the simplest of the app that you are creating and all those things? So there's going to be a lot of misunderstanding.
I feel that the points you just raised, I think at that point they might not really listen to that excuse, because they will simply tell you, if you can't self-audit, go and meet a professional that will help you do it. After all,
and that will cost you now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So that's what I'm saying. I'm really looking forward to this audit. Let me see how they want to do it. What I feel they should have done, what I feel they should have done, I feel probably this thing should have been a corporate thing, and maybe they will enforce anybody that is having large volumes of money, he's just going to register it as a business. Because you know how you want to tell me in a month 700K went down your account 18 times, and you tell me you are not employed and therefore you are not eligible for tax. And that's what I feel. People with high volumes, just
all these Yahoo boys too.
That's
2026 might be a very funny year.
That might be a way of catching criminals as well, because you have to explain, like, okay, what was this $500 that came into your account?
And when I was listening to this man today, he said something. Do you know that the tax collector, has the power to freeze your account and seize some of your assets if they feel like you are evading tax? Do you know?
The truth is that they have this whole system now is digitized. They see what's actually coming into your account.
So they can freeze
like
your account.
Your bank account, yes.
And the worst part is, okay, even what? I can finish
you pay. Even every payment you pay, like Uber, everything, they see everything. Because they are working in conjunction with this France company.
Yes. I'm happy you brought that up, Victor Ike, because that's one of the misconceptions. I heard somebody was telling me something earlier today, that this tax thing that they are building up now, that the software that they are using to track and monitor people's transactions was developed by the France, and that there is an agreement with the France government that for every tax payment there is a percentage that goes to them. I don't know if that's true.
Definitely. That's the way.
So the big issue on X, because what people were angry about is, first of all, we have a lot of companies, a lot of fintechs that can do that. We have Paystack, we have Flutterwave, we have a lot of them that can, even OPay, Money Points, that can handle this thing. Why are you outsourcing this
foreign government?
or a foreign government.
The foreign
And then
government, for that matter, not even a private.
And then when you look at, and because that automatically mean the foreign government now has access to the economic state of a country, and it can help them make informed decisions to or against that country. And if you look at now the geopolitical aspect of it, especially with France and the controversy of them influencing Nigeria's decision to bomb Benin Republic, but that's off it. But my issue was, why are they outsourcing it to a foreign government to do it when we have a lot of fintechs in Nigeria? So that thing, it was a big issue on Twitter.
I would like you guys to answer that question. Why do you think the Nigerian government outsourced it? Why do you think they decided to go to France in particular, or even any foreign government, to build this system? Is it that they felt like Nigerian fintechs cannot do it, or they feel like something from outside will be the best, or there is a motive behind it?
I think there's a motive. I don't think
Tinubu has a relationship, a level of relationship with this Emmanuel Macron of France. So there is definitely a motive behind it. And I don't know, should I lay allegation that it might be a way of even siphoning money, because now they're taking percentage and they have the power to actually, you know what it means to tax a whole country. And they have and it doesn't seem like anybody is really going to be monitoring it like from our own country. It's just them doing their own thing. And
exactly.
So imagine a way of, okay, take your share, let me take my share out of this whole thing.
I'm telling you.
Seriously, I'm against the whole idea of, outsourcing it to the foreign government to do it. We have a lot of people that can do it here in Nigeria.
Exactly. We have a lot of infrastructure. And another thing is, if you look at France, for more than 8 decades now, for over 8 decades now, some of these African countries now that have had coups, they were actually paying a percentage of their country's earnings to France. I don't know, there was some shady neocolonial agreements. So now, as those countries now have had military coup, those countries have chased out France. And now there were reports of riots in France, protests in France, no jobs, the French economy is failing. So I feel since Macron saw that Tinubu was his only ally in this region now, he now said, okay, let me do it like so, make my country, they see money, keep up. Because now, their uranium, they don't have uranium again. Where France get uranium from? In Niger. Niger have kicked them out. And they're selling it at the normal market price. And France can't afford it. I mean, when your money switch off, you have to look for another source. So that is why I still feel there's a dark motive behind them using France.
This raises a lot of questions and a lot of red flags, you guys.
Serious red flags.
We've raised issue concerning political controversies, and it just made me recall something I was thinking earlier this morning. I was thinking that, imagine if Peter Obi was the one that won the election and he's currently the one in government. Do you think if he was the one that came up with this Nigerian Tax Act, if it was Peter Obi, somebody that the entire public perceived to be very accountable, to be very straightforward and honest, do you think there will be a lot of uproar and resistance when Nigerians know that the person that is there and the person that is presenting this new tax act is somebody that they can trust? Do you think there will be a lot of resistance? Because I feel like one major resistance that people will have is because of the person that is there.
Okay, what I believe about this whole thing is that if you look at Nigeria, the political structure of Nigeria now, it seems like APC has actually taken over everywhere. Go through the whole state in the southwest. Rivers State government recently moved from PDP to APC. In fact, in the southeast, I think it's only two governors that have not moved to APC. So nowadays, it's becoming increasingly difficult for anybody to actually challenge Tinubu on anything that he's doing. Like, if you go to the Senate house, they will sing "On Your Mandate we shall stand" instead of the usual national anthem they are supposed to sing. So with that, I believe if it is somebody else, maybe like Peter that's in the seat now, if he brings up this idea of tax and is outsourcing it to the government, there's going to be a lot of uproar across the whole country. But because it is Tinubu who has seemingly colonized the whole system, it's difficult for any common man to come and start saying, except maybe the hoi polo is the common man in the streets can actually stand up nowadays. Maybe if it doesn't suit us well, if the whole idea doesn't suit us well, we can organize the whole thing in the social media and then choose a date to come out. But there's also a problem of counter protest nowadays too. When you stand up and say you want to protest, there are people already being paid to actually stand up against you too.
And support what the government is doing.
It's a very big mess in Nigeria, honestly.
Yeah. Also, in addition to what I said, there's a tweet I saw this morning, and it also reminded me of something I heard Alex Oti, this Abia State governor, that this man is doing wonders in Abia, according to reports coming out from there. He was saying something about, he said, you can't collect tax from the people you have not given to. And it was also in tandem with this tweet I told you I saw this morning. The man was saying that there is literally no infrastructure, and Zai, you brought it up earlier in the conversation. There is no infrastructure, no working infrastructure in Nigeria. We saw the other day, a few days ago, they say 128 billion was missing from power sector. 128 billion, 210 trillion from NNPC. This 1 billion from this sector. Like, no sector is
Victor, that infrastructure you're talking about is even too far-fetched. The very basic one, like, I'm telling you, very basic infrastructure, like, emergency response. I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter what happened on Third Mainland Bridge yesterday. A BRT caught fire. I don't know if you saw it. And people were just passing, videoing. There was no emergency response. Nobody was coming to put out the fire. I was just thanking God that I did not go to work yesterday. Because that was around the time. That was around the time I usually close.
Balogun Market in December.
Balogun Market, Arena Market too caught fire now.
Fire services came and they said water finished in their truck. Can you imagine? Water finished. No, it's not. It's laughable. It's laughable, but it's not funny. How can you tell me fire trucks came and the water finished? And Balogun Market is in CMS that is close to the water. Like, oh my God.
And we are paying tax.
And we've been paying tax before. That's my issue. We've been paying. It's not a new thing.
It's not like anything new is happening. We've been paying. This is what has been happening. The only thing is that they are just trying to widen the tax.
Widen the bracket, exactly, to catch more people. Because what do you mean? What are you telling me? 800,000 a year. It cannot even buy you per month. It can't even buy you bag of rice. 60K can't buy you bag of rice. You're telling me per year. That's why when it came out, people were saying reform. I was on my Twitter. I just told people this thing is trap. And it was this personal income tax I knew was my issue. Companies know how to reduce their tax base.
Of course, now most of these companies they have what they call them tax consultants that know how to help them evade all of these things.
You can write off. You can postpone future profit. You can carry your profit over to next year. So on paper, you didn't make money, but your bank account is fat. So there are corporate ways to reduce your tax, but see personal income, no.
It's going to be very difficult for the common man, the average Nigerian, the students, the recent graduates, the salary earner, the freelancers, the small business owners. We are the ones that will feel the pressure the most with this personal income tax.
On the contrary, I agree to some extent about the reform. I agree with the reform to some extent.
Same with me, to some extent I agree.
The reform, yes, I was doing for it too. And now it was not as bad as they were saying it was. I mean, personally, to me, it was not as bad as they were making it.
The side that I agree with is that I believe majority of the tax that has been generated in Nigeria has been coming from the poor. I think there was a statistics I saw where they said as at 2017, 96% of the income tax collected from Nigerians came from low income earners. So I feel like this now, putting a threshold that people earning very low would not pay and sort of focusing on high income earners. I agree with that totally, to be very honest with you. And this new reform tries to, based on what they said in theory, it doesn't mean that that's how it's going to be in practical. They said with time, they want to stop all these aberos that collect tax from people on the road, all of this illegal tax and stuff they do like that. This new reform is supposed to remove all of that.
Honestly, it's funny because they are Tinubu boys, honestly. Is it almost like, is it very possible?
I mean, they still have made money for Tinubu, so why would you want to chase them away? But
It's
also,
almost impossible for you to stop them from doing what they are doing, honestly. Especially in Lagos.
another thing I want to say is this. When I was when I first studying for this thing on Monday, I realized something. You know, like last month, I was telling someone that in a place like Finland, they pay 55% personal income tax. 55%, 55.
Jesus. That's more than half.
Okay.
So if you're earning 100K, you are paying government 55K, you are going home with 40K.
Okay.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But in that place,
surprising.
healthcare is free. You have free
It's not
healthcare.
surprising to me, yeah.
The society there is working. So I feel people's pain is not only with this tax.
Yeah.
Because in this our democracy, in a democratic Western setting, taxes are supposed to, like we established at the beginning, provide public services to service the public infrastructure.
Yeah.
And that's why those people in Finland, they've been paying it, and you won't see them complaining because they're actually seeing the effect of their tax. It's much.
There's still so much from it. So much.
But then it's working. They're
With
seeing
any little headache like this, they're in the hospital already, and they will treat them for free. Surgeries, they are
And for free.
a man in UK was actually talking about how he pays tax, and he's very happy to pay tax.
I experienced this one firsthand when I was in Portugal. My cousin was involved in an accident, and she broke her leg. She needed surgery. When they went to a private hospital, the estimate for the surgery was 15,000 euros. That's how much she was supposed to pay, 15,000 euros. When we brought the idea to take her to public hospital, because we were like, they are paying tax now, let us take her to public hospital and see what they can do. Do you know that they did this surgery for her for free? They did not pay 1 naira. She was in the hospital.
The best healthcare,
She was in the hospital 3 days after the surgery. For that 3 days, they brought a clown, Victor, they brought a clown to be there for emotional support, to be blowing balloon for her and just be making her happy. I'm telling you, guy, they did not pay 1 naira for something they were supposed to pay 15,000 euros for.
No, they're already paying for healthcare. Healthcare is already deducted from your salary. But they are seeing it. That's the whole point.
Maybe go general hospital for Nigeria, yeah. Before you go see doctor first, you go use like the whole day. There was a friend of mine that went there. He used the whole day just to find his file. Somebody that was sick, he used the whole day to find his file. Then they told him to come the next day to see the doctor. God. Sure, you know, go don't die by that time.
The situation in Nigeria General Hospital is nothing to write home about. Like,
I'm telling guys,
it's bad. It's bad. You don't want to go there too. You don't want to go there too when you are sick, honestly.
And these are some of the things that our tax money is supposed to be dealing with.
You will not want
like,
to.
Low regard for human life. Low regard. Little to no regard at all.
It's very sad, honestly. So I feel like I was in that Your View show. A caller there said, he was talking to that Taiwo Yedele. He said, we are not against paying tax, but we need to be sure that what we would be paying would be benefiting us, because the one we've been paying for years now, we've seen nothing.
They've been looting it. They've been sharing it among themselves.
Nigeria cannot boast of light. Nigeria cannot boast of good road. Nigeria
The roads are
good academic system, good health care.
Over 24 hours. I spent over 24 hours on the road when I was coming to Lagos. Bini or from Bini, Delta to Bini, even to up to close to Ore itself, that road is on like totally dilapidated, and that's just how bad it is.
It's very sad.
It's very sad. It's very sad. But the tax, it's not. I'm not against it, but the money, let's be seeing it working.
There should be an accountability structure that is put in place, that even the common man can see that, okay, this is where the money is at this point. This is where the money is moving for, because it's our money at the end of the day.
And there should be penalties for lack of accountability.
There's penalty for invading, but no penalty for lack of accountability.
Not during audits. They're asking the head of NRS, what happened to this one? You go and faint inside in audits. And they will not carry him out. And that's how the case, we will not hear about the case.
Even the ones that were arrested, they will give them bail, a bail of very little price. Look at this, Malami was recently, if you look at that man, if you see that man's property, the property he acquired by stealing, he stole a lot of money and acquired a lot of properties in Nigeria. In the end of the day, they're not giving him bail. Recently, I heard they're giving him bail of 500 million. Why is somebody that stole billions, like somebody that stole billions of naira?
You will very easily just pay off that money.
You pay it off easily now and move on with his life and go and enjoy what he has looted.
See,
It's sad. It's sad.
It's very sad.
Yeah, so as we've been saying, and I totally agree, this is very sad what the state at which Nigeria is. So one of the things I want us to talk about also is, do you think, okay, agreed, I think we all collectively agree that the new Tax Act in itself is not a bad idea. But my question is this, do you think the timing is perfect? Do you think, agree the policy is good, but do you think it is poorly timed? Because currently, Nigeria is suffering from hardship, inflation, and trust issues, because I don't think the majority doesn't trust the current government we have in place. That's why I was asking that question, that do you think if we had somebody like Peter Obi, who the public perceive as trustworthy in place, do you think there will be faster adoption and lesser resistance to the new Nigerian Tax Act? So my question is, do you think the time they are bringing this thing is the best?
In part, I think the timing is not so good, because you need to earn the trust of the citizens, the taxpayers, before you start raising any issue concerning tax. You know, when you need to implement things, put things in place, do the road, and you need to actually inform them, like give them a stretch of time before you actually kind of say, okay, maybe in your second tenure as a president, now like implement after you must have done a lot of work that is visible to the eyes. And then look at for example, look at this what's it called? This highway they are building from Lagos to Calabar Coastal. Yes, the Lagos to Calabar Coastal is something that a lot of people resisted, not because it's a bad idea in itself, but that road is like supposed to cost a lot of money, like so much money, and there are a lot of bad roads in Nigeria which you are supposed to actually go and repair.
Focus on before that one.
Now people are actually believing, people are actually starting to feel like that's the way of, because the contract was actually given to I think a relative or something like that, as a part of a relative of Tinubu who actually got that contract.
His son, not relative, his son. His son is on the board of directors that they gave that contract.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, the relative was Tinubu. So a lot of people are actually losing trust on the whole deals of this government. So you need to have earned their trust to a good extent before you actually start saying you want to implement something like this. In the other part, I think also the reform it came at the right time, because usually it's in the midst of this hardship that a good leader actually comes up and say, I want to put something in place that is going to be hard for everybody, but if we actually endure through, it will come out nice. But my own eyes are, I want to see it working. I want to see that when this tax is being paid, me as somebody that pays tax can actually question the government and not be criticized or not be targeted by another person. You know, that if you go to Twitter and you raise your voice concerning what the government is doing, it's more like tribalism is actually affecting us.
It's weaponized.
Exactly. If you go to Twitter now, and say, okay, look, I'm not happy about what's happening here. You see a set of people actually saying, they're actually criticizing you for it. So I want to be okay. I want to be okay with you, like them. I want to be okay with the fact that if I raise concern about what happens after this tax, that government will actually be able to account and do better. That's what I think.
Victor, about you, what do you think of the timing?
The timing, is not the timing. It doesn't have anything to do with my opinion. My opinion is if we have a good leader. See, it might have come 10 years ago. It might have come 20 years ago. It might have come 20 years into the future. If we don't have a good leader to really carry us through this stretch, well, it don't matter whether it's time or not. We'll still be in this mess. So it's about the leadership now, not the timing. For me, it's about the leadership, not the timing.
Yeah, I agree. I think I can look at things from your own lens of view. Yeah. So let me just get your final thoughts and takeaways. What are your predictions for this new Tax Act? What do you think is going to happen in the next 4, 5, 6 months. I think he said it will be the first implementation March 31st. So what are your predictions even up to the end of the year 2026 concerning as regards this new tax law?
Okay, let me come in. So I think it's all about the government, and it has very little to do with with the reforms, because with your reform, if the government chooses to be silent about people that are embezzling money, it's not going to affect anybody. It's not going to affect us positively. So whether or not we are going to be in a positive rail depends on the government of the day. So if Tinubu actually wants to take Nigeria serious and probe those people that are embezzling public funds, like the power minister that you guys just said now, that a lot of money is missing in his office, and it doesn't seem like there's a political will to actually probe what is happening there. Prime Minister is still sitting there. A lot of corruption cases is happening in Nigeria, and then so it's not about the tax for me. If the government of the day chooses to make Nigeria better, look at what's happening with America now. Trump came in and was shouting, "Make America great again, make America great again." Immediately, he started implementing a lot of stuff. It parades to foreign countries, and look at today, America is earning so much today. So it depends on the government of it. If Tinubu chooses to set Nigeria in the right path, we'll move clearly towards.
So your prediction in essence is that the new tax act will not have any positive or negative effect on Nigeria. It will just be the same thing since we still the same government.
Yeah, it will all depend on Tinubu and his colleagues there.
How about you, Victor?
All right. So what I feel is, in addition to what I said and also on what I said about the timing, that it's not about the timing, it's leadership. What I feel is this I feel will happen. I feel when the thing really hits, I'm seeing us coming together to actually overthrow this government, because people don't understand the business. Because that thing you are saying about them seizing your assets, people don't understand. It's when they start doing it that the citizens will know that we now truly have to physically fight back. It's not about being a keyboard warrior. It's time to hit the street. See what happened in Kenya when they increased tax that last year. It was not even by law. They just increased it small. See the way all the youth came out, and the guy had to reduce it. I think he even had to step down or something. So I think people don't really understand that thing about seizing assets. And they don't understand the implication until it now starts. That it's
I agree with Victor on this. I agree with Victor. I see a lot of resistance coming up, because it's easy for us to just fight through our keyboard now because it has not physically been implemented. We are just hearing about it. But when 10 million naira enter inside your account and then they freeze your account, nobody go tell you, say make you come outside.
Like they say, everywhere go first blow. Or when they come and pay you, even for companies, they say, even individuals, I even wrote it down, failure to pass, like if you're in a business now, that's now that we're saying about electronic invoicing.
Yeah.
They said if you fail to use that system, there's a system that's going to roll out, that they've already rolled out. If you fail to use that system to do your invoicing, and during audit they find out, you first pay 200k.
Jesus.
Then you pay all your tax that is due, plus 2% interest. Then failure to follow the NRS deployment. I think this one is for companies. You first start with 1 million first. That's for day one. Then subsequently, 10k will be adding until you clear that money. Then 10k will be added every day.
God.
When they first pay to like 10M bill that you are owing, or you risk shutting down your business, water go first come out
to the streets.
People don't. But then
this thing is funny, but it's not funny.
It's laughable, but it's not funny. It's very laughable, but it's not funny.
When that time comes, we'll see what happens. We'll get to that mountain, we might climb it.
We'll climb this guy. We'll bomb it now.
Level it.
Why go the climb? Now who gets strength they climb now? We don't bomb it.
It's been nice having you guys today. I really, really appreciate it. This has been a very funny and educative episode at the same time. Thank you so much, guys. Bye. Have a nice day.